I never thought a homeowners association could turn me into the villain of my own street. Over snow, of all things. But picture this. It's 6 a.m. I'm hunched over my chipped kitchen table, coffee in hand, watching 18 inches of Vermont powder absolutely bury our little cul-de-sac. My phone's lighting up like Times Square. Text after text. Frank, can you get the plow out? Frank, the bus comes in an hour. Frank, help. You know what's wild? I want to help. I always help. But thanks to Barbara Hutchkins and her brand new, ironclad HOA emergency noise ordinance, my hands are tied till 8 o'clock sharp. Not a minute sooner, unless I want to fork over $250 for the privilege of being a good neighbor. Let me back up a sec. My name's Frank Zimmerman. I moved to Oak Ridge Meadows in Burlington 4 years ago, right after my marriage split up and my world felt like a snow globe someone just finished shaking. This place, 30 tidy houses looped around a sleepy side street, seemed like a fresh start. Enough trees you could actually see the stars, but close enough to downtown for pizza and passable sushi. At first, the HOA was just background noise. They collected some dues, hired a kid to trim the hedges out front, threw a block party once a year. That was it. Then, 2 doors down, moved in Barbara Hutchkins, 52, originally from Connecticut, with a haircut that practically screamed, "Let me speak to your manager," from 3 blocks away. You know the type. Short, severe, platinum highlights, and an attitude sharp enough to cut glass. Her husband landed a job at the university, and suddenly Barbara had way too much free time. She showed up at every HOA meeting, signed up for every committee, and, surprise, ended up HOA president by spring. At first, she actually made some decent changes. We got matching mailboxes, a neighborhood watch program. But then Barbara started, let's say, getting creative. No holiday decorations before Thanksgiving. No cars left on the street overnight. And, my personal favorite, no noisy yard equipment before 9 a.m. On weekends, every new rule, she'd give this big speech about property values and unified community standards. She could have gone pro. But the snow shoveling rule, oh, that was special. See, Burlington gets buried in winter. Our subdivision's technically private, so the city doesn't plow our loop. For 3 years, I'd just hook up my truck's plow attachment before the sun was up and clear the street. Never asked for a dime. I figured it was part of being a neighbor. Made life easier for everyone. People could get to work, kids could catch the bus, and nobody spent the morning stuck in the driveway. Simple. Then, 3 weeks ago, first big snow of the season. I'm out there at 5:30 a.m., plowing away, singing along to Springsteen, thinking nothing of it. Around 7, Barbara comes storming out in this blinding pink bathrobe and duck boots, waving her arms like she's directing traffic. She marches up to my truck, bangs on the window, frost already collecting in her hair. I roll it down, expecting maybe a thanks. What I get is, "What do you think you're doing?" I blink. Plowing the street, same as always. It's 7 in the morning. People are trying to sleep. I look around. Half the neighbors are out scraping ice off their windshields. Barbara, folks need to get to work. The school bus is coming in 45 minutes. That's not the point. The point is, you're making excessive noise during quiet hours. I've gotten complaints. From who? That's confidential. But the board has discussed this, and we're putting in a new rule. No snow removal equipment before 8 a.m. We'll send an official notice. I just stared at her. You can't be serious. She's dead serious. If people need to get out early, they can shovel their own driveways, or wait until after 8 for you. This is about respect. And she spins on her heel, back to her house before I can say another word. I sat there in the cab, watching the exhaust curl into the cold. Couldn't believe it. That wasn't just dumb, it was actually dangerous. The official notice came 3 days later, on HOA letterhead no less. No gas-powered equipment, no snow blowers, no chainsaws, no plows before 8 a.m. or after 8 p.m. First violation, $250 fine. Second, $500. Third, legal action. That night, I called a little emergency meeting. 15 neighbors crammed into my living room, everyone clutching coffee and looking shell-shocked. Can she actually enforce this? Marcus, number 14, asked. He's a nurse, works 7 a.m. shifts. Tom Brennan, a corporate lawyer who's way too laid back for this nonsense, just sighed. Legally, yeah. HOA bylaws give the board broad power, as long as it's for the common good. And we all signed those. But this isn't the common good, said Jennifer Wu, shaking her head. Who even complained? Nobody had. Phones came out. Everyone started combing through Facebook groups and email chains. Nothing. Not one single gripe about early snow removal. Marcus muttered. My wife looked up Barbara's old neighborhood. She tried to ban kids from playing outside there. Great, I thought. We've got a professional. We wrote a polite, factual petition. 23 out of 30 households signed. We requested an emergency meeting to discuss the snow removal rule, listed all the practical problems. Barbara's response. A 2-line email. Board has discussed. The rule will stand. Concerns noted for future discussion. Future discussion. Yeah, right. Next snow? Only 3 inches on a Saturday. I waited till 8. Nobody was late, whatever. Then, a week later, the big one hit. Forecast called for 1.5 feet. I went to bed with the flakes already coming down, the kind that sticks to everything, piling up so fast you'd swear it was a prank. Alarm goes off at 5 o'clock. I look outside. Looks like someone buried the world. Streets gone. Lawns gone. Just a giant, silent pillow of snow. I suit up, start the truck, and just sit. I could clear the whole subdivision in under an hour, easy. But that rule, and that fine, and honestly, the principle of the thing, hang over my head. I turned off the truck, went back inside, and waited. By 6:30, my phone's blowing up. Frank, can you plow? Frank, I have surgery at 7:30. I need to leave. Frank, help. All I could say was, sorry, new HOA rule. I'll be out at 8 o'clock. Responses flew in, some begging, some furious. Marcus called, desperate. I get what you're doing, but I have to get out of here. You're using us as leverage. I'm following the rules, I said, my voice way calmer than I felt. That's what Barbara wanted. Now everyone has to live with it. He hung up without another word. By 7 o'clock, I heard the scraping of shovels and engines revving in frustration. Out the window, I watched Jennifer's sedan get hopelessly stuck just 15 feet from her driveway, wheels spinning, exhaust rising in little white clouds. At 7:30, the school bus tried to turn in and immediately got stuck at the entrance, hazard lights flashing in the still blue morning. By 7:40, a posse of neighbors was banging on my door, boots, hats, scarves, all looking like a flock of angry snowmen. Frank, the bus is stuck. I have a meeting. My kids are going to miss school. I glanced at my watch. 20 minutes. I can legally help. You're being petty, Paul from number 22 snapped. I shrugged. I'm following the rules. If you've got a problem, call Barbara. She's not answering her phone, Marcus said. Probably sleeping, I shot back. Enjoying those peaceful, quiet hours. Jennifer looked like she might swing at me, but Tom just put a hand on her shoulder. He's right. This isn't on Frank. They all scattered, phones out, blowing up Barbara's inbox. I poured myself another coffee and watched the clock. At 7:55, Barbara's garage door creaked open. She backed her gleaming Lexus into the street, her driveway spotless. Guess who hired a private crew? And promptly got stuck right where Jennifer's car was already blocking the road. I walked out, coffee in hand, and leaned against the porch railing. It was pure theater. Barbara, teetering in high-heeled boots, blinking at the mess like she'd just discovered gravity. Jennifer appeared at her window, voice cutting through the quiet. Good morning, Barbara. Enjoying the peaceful morning? Barbara sputtered. This is unacceptable. Why hasn't anyone plowed? Jennifer, sweet as molasses but sharp as ice, replied. Someone made a rule banning plowing before 8 o'clock. Barbara's face went pale, then red. This is an emergency. That rule doesn't apply during emergencies. Tom called out. Doesn't say that anywhere. No exceptions in the rule. He was reading off his phone, loud enough for everyone to hear. Barbara stomped her foot. Frank, you can plow now. I checked my watch. Would you look at that? 8 o'clock on the dot. I took my sweet time scraping off the truck windows, enjoying every pair of eyes fixed on me. A cocktail of relief, irritation, and a touch of admiration, if I'm honest. Then I started up the truck and plowed the street, slowly, methodically, making sure every inch was clear. By the time I reached the school bus, it was after 9. Carol, the driver, tough lady, never once complained, just grinned at me through the open window. This'll be a great story in the teacher's lounge, she said. Sorry for the mess, I told her. Honey, this isn't your mess. She looked over at Barbara, still waving her phone in the air. That's all her. It took the rest of the morning for people to dig out. Most had to call in late, or skip work entirely. Marcus made it 3 hours late, got written up. Jennifer missed her meeting. Everyone knew exactly who to blame. That night, the neighborhood's Facebook group exploded. Recall Barbara now. Repeal the snow ordinance. Vote of no confidence. Even the board members who'd backed her before bailed, admitting they never thought it would be such a disaster. The emergency HOA meeting was packed, people standing in the back, faces flushed, everyone on edge. Tom, cool as always, read from the bylaws. Reasonable rules for the benefit and safety of all residents. He listed off everything that had gone wrong. Barbara tried to defend herself. I had complaints about noise. I was protecting everyone's peace. The crowd wasn't having it. Jennifer stood up. Produce these complaints, or admit it was just your idea. Barbara went red. I don't have to justify myself. Tom smiled. He had the signatures for a recall right there, already well over the threshold. The crowd cheered. Barbara stormed out, warning us we'd regret it when property values crashed. 2 weeks later, after a blizzard of angry emails, nitpicky fines, and more drama, she was voted out unanimously. By the next Friday, a moving truck was out front. Barbara was gone, off to Colorado with her husband and, I hope, a brand new set of community standards. Tom became president. First order of business, repeal the noise ordinance. Second, name me official snow removal coordinator and actually pay me for gas and repairs. I tried to refuse. The neighbors insisted. They even chipped in for a new snowblower. The rest of winter? Smooth as a shovel through powder. But you know what? Barbara wasn't done. In March, I get a certified letter. She's suing me for harassment, sabotage, creating a hostile living environment. $50,000. I laughed out loud. Tom called his lawyer buddy, Karen, sharp as a tack. She looked over the suit, shook her head. She doesn't have a leg to stand on. We gathered up every email, every meeting note, every text. The judge tossed her case, blunt as could be. Plaintiff created her own problems. Dismissed. You'd think that would be the end, right? But no. Come June, I'm flipping burgers in my backyard when 2 cop cars roll up. Mr. Zimmerman, we need to talk about Barbara Hutchkins. My heart just drops. She's filed a police report. Says I'm stalking her, sending threats from 2,000 miles away. They check my phone, my computer, every scrap of digital trail. Nothing. Officer Patterson, older guy with kind eyes, pats my shoulder. We'll file our report. If she keeps this up, she'll be the one in trouble. Turns out, she sent herself the letters, fake return addresses, postmarks nowhere near Vermont. The Colorado cops figured it out. She gets charged with filing a false police report, probation, a fine, court-ordered therapy, and a restraining order keeping her away from all of us. After that, peace. Glorious, snowy, neighborly peace. The next winter, we got hit with another big storm. I was out before sunrise, clearing the street, waving to Carol as the bus rolled in on time. Marcus handed me a mug of coffee. You're a good man, Frank. Thanks for putting up with all that insanity. It's over, I said, taking a sip. Except, not quite. That spring, I got a letter from Barbara, forwarded by her lawyer, handwritten, apologetic, even a little sad. She said therapy helped her see why she acted the way she did, that she'd let her need for control ruin everything, that she was sorry. I tucked the letter into a folder with all the old documents. Maybe it was sincere, maybe it was legal maneuvering. I decided to let it be. New folks bought her old house, David and Lisa Chambers, with 2 little kids and a puppy that immediately ate my azaleas. David pitched in with the snowblower that winter. We developed a rhythm, him on driveways, me on the street. The Barbara saga became neighborhood legend, a story the old-timers told at block parties, always with a little more drama than the year before. 3 years later, I bumped into Barbara at the grocery store, of all places. Her hair was longer, her eyes softer. She recognized me, hesitated, then walked over. If you got my letter, I meant every word, she said. She looked tired, but lighter somehow. I'm working on being better, she told me, voice shaky. That's good, Barbara, I said. And I meant it. Life moved on. The HOA went back to basics. Just enough rules to keep things running, none of the nonsense. Every winter, I cleared the streets before dawn, sometimes with David, sometimes alone, always with the knowledge that I was helping, not hurting. You know, looking back, the whole thing taught me something. It's easy to laugh at a story about snow plowing and a power-hungry HOA president. But really, it's about what happens when people put rules over reason, authority over community. Sometimes you have to let bad decisions run their course so everyone can see just how bad they are, and then, together, fix things the right way. Every time I fire up that plow before sunrise, I remember that lesson. Community matters more than control. Common sense should win out over bureaucracy. And sometimes, the most important thing you can do is just help your neighbor dig out of a snowstorm, literally and otherwise. So now, let me ask you, have you ever seen a rule go so wrong that it brought everyone together just to fight it? Where do you draw the line between order and overreach, between protecting peace and smothering a community? Drop your stories, your thoughts on justice and HOA madness, down below. I'd love to hear where you stand. And hey, maybe, just maybe, the best way to build a neighborhood is one early morning snow plow at a time.